welcome to Find the Intersection. My name is Paul Dezay, and today we are going to find the intersection between four passages we've been reading all week. So the first passage is Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. Second passage is Ephesians chapter 3, verses 1 to 12. Third passage is Psalm 60, verses 1 to 6. And then the fourth passage is Psalm 72, verses 1 to 7 and 10 to 14. And so if you haven't done so already, go check those out, read them in a couple translations, and kind of see where there's maybe some themes or threads from the story of God that begin to emerge as you compare and contrast these four passages. Go do that, and then come back here, and I'll share a few things that stood out to me for this week. Hey, welcome back. It is my favorite time of the week. We get to find the intersection between these four passages. So here's a few themes that jumped out to me. And as always, when we're thinking about these themes, it's not just for informational sake, it's for transformation. So we begin to apply these themes to our lives so we learn more about Christ and learn more about ourselves. So here's a few of the themes, the intersections that stood out to me. First is Epiphany, which is the holy day that these four passages surround. So we're talking about the revelation of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles. And so this is the mystery that Paul was talking about in Ephesians, that the gospel is for everybody. And so this idea of Epiphany, or light that the wise men followed that led them to the king for the world. Epiphany is this holy day that we are celebrating. So, which really brings to this idea of inclusion. I know that's a buzz conversation within our culture now. Do we include people, or do we keep people at arm's length? Who's included in God's people? And so we see in this passage, because of the revelation to the Gentiles, we really see this idea of inclusion coming home, that everyone's included. Gentiles are included, Jews are included, misfits are included. So, if you're broken, you're included. All people of all races, all nations, everybody, you're included. And so for me as a Christ follower, I need to follow in the footsteps of the great includer, Jesus, who include Jews and Gentiles into this good news that we celebrate. So everybody is welcome to be a part of God's kingdom, which brings us to this, my last point. That's kings and kingdoms. We see that Jesus is worshipped as a king from the wise men, and the king sets up his kingdom by exhibiting certain actions in character. So we see that the royal psalm of Psalm 72, Jesus lived this out. And so we begin to see what a kingdom really looks like, God's kingdom. It's a place of inclusion. It's a place of hospitality as we welcome the people from around the world who are curious, who seek God, and we become his ambassadors, as Paul says in another place. So anyway, those are three things that stood out. I mean, I know there's a lot more, and I'd really like to hear from you. So in the comments, would you share your intersections with us? And let's keep this conversation going. And I'll see you again next week as we begin our next reading plan. I'll see you soon. Bye.